Okay, welcome. We're going to get started. I'm Christopher Luna, as I think most of you know, and tonight I'm going to be accompanied by Beth Karp on the piano, and this is actually the third time that Beth and I have performed together, but we're enjoying collaborating with each other, and I really appreciate what she lends to it. Those of you who were not with us last fall when we performed at Landscape Chinese Garden, there's a video of that performance, and I encourage you to check it out if you enjoy what you hear tonight. And we're going to play a couple of things that we played over there, plus some new things that we worked on. This is part of a series, so I'm very grateful to Greg and Leah and everyone at Angst and Niche for allowing me to put together a series of poetry and music events. And so we got two more of those in the spring. There'll be one at the end of April with Julio Appling, bass player, and in May we will have Matt Grislan making various electronic sounds behind some poetry. And on April 12th, I will teach a workshop next door at Niche that will be followed by a collage party. Some of you have been here for the collage parties, and we basically use the table that's right here. We have a bunch of supplies, and we just make a bunch of people get together and make collages together. So if you'd like to join us during that, would be great. So the first piece that Beth and I are going to do together, I based it on a song by the band Morphine, which is a band I really like, and it was a B-side of theirs. And the title of the poem is also the title of the song is also the title of the poem, and that's called "Down Love's Tributaries." So I lied, so I drenched the murmuring is not. Unrequited, reliquaries, off balance, deliberately, murder the crier, crowd the hawk's stream, blue seeps into black, forcing the big reveal. Despite having been told, old longings die hard, thought I detected mutiny's whisper. Difference of opinion regarding the symbolism of the color blue. She takes me anywhere she pleases. Unexpected dance partners slip through. Memories drapery into today's searing sunbeam. To pry the eyes open, sighing. I once stood exactly where you're standing, and I had the same stupid look you're wearing now. Wanna waltz toward closure. Lead your partner toward completion. Perhaps your coupling could lead to the reunion of masculine and feminine. I just have to mention something about morphine. Those of you who don't know, because we have some poets here, really check out, Morphine recorded all of, I believe it's the whole thing, all of Coney Island of the Mind with Lawrence Ferlinghetti. So you can get your hands on that recording. That's one of the spoken word recordings that I think about when I think about wanting to do this. It's a band. That first piece was based on one of their songs. I wrote it while I was listening to one of their songs.
When were they?
Probably 90s. I don't think they're together anymore, but yeah, it's a great band. That was probably mostly together.
Wow.
So next we're going to do a piece that is definitely a ghost town piece called Pavement Pastoral. There is a determined melancholy to the suicide dive of autumn leaves as they tear themselves from the limbs of trembling trees to spiral earthward like eels caught in zoetrope flicker. So a more recent poem for me is a poem that's for Elizabeth Short. Elizabeth Short was the victim of the Black Dahlia murder, and I read a book that was about the connection, or the possible connection between the surrealist painters and artists in that community and the person who's never been, determined who murdered Elizabeth Short, because the way that she was left was as if arranged like one of their works of art, and there are a lot of parallels that can be drawn between shapes in some of the artworks and what she looked like. And this book was very disturbing, and in some ways it's a conspiracy theory book, so I don't know how much of it is true, but it's very convincing. And the book contains a lot of crime scene photos, and I'd seen one before, but it shows more angles and shows detail so that it can be compared to the art and all that. And really, when you see things like this, you can't unsee them. So I wanted to somehow try to use a poem to restore dignity to this woman who had been defiled in this way and turned into a really awful piece of art. And it's going to be accompanied by music by Mendelssohn, and when we're finished, Beth will tell you more about that. I have nothing intelligent to say about it, but she does. Dissected by a minotaur, singular or plural, and a aesthetic fascination. Certainly not flesh and blood. Most definitely lacking a soul. Casual bisection. Collaborative mutilation. Complete objectification. A young, vibrant woman, sliced into pieces to be disassembled and reassembled, rendering her a ready-made collection of geometric shapes with a gash. Instead of a lotus flower opened in enlightenment's bloom.
Asked me if I would say a few words on Mendelssohn, which I would love to because I love Mendelssohn. You can probably see from the back of this book that it's seen a lot of love. I've had it since I was a kid, and I played a lot of Mendelssohn when I was growing up, and to me he's a real proof of the ability of music to transcend time and geography and background. Mendelssohn was an upper middle class man in the mid 18th century in Germany, or actually probably Austria. And I think his music is really, exquisite and perfectly understandable and comprehensible to us even today. And one of the really neat things about Mendelssohn is that a lot of his piano music was published under the moniker of Songs Without Words. And what Mendelssohn said about that is that the things he was trying to communicate with his music were too specific for language.
Thank you very much. And I mean, I have articulated from the microphone, even here and next door, what I gained from the collaborative process and how much I learned from musicians. But I think a lot of what I have learned from musicians over these years is, something that is very difficult to articulate. But I know that it helps me to grow as a performer and as a person, and it helps me in terms of listening, because most often poets are up at the microphone by themselves. They don't necessarily have to listen to anybody except for themselves. If they're good, they're paying attention to what's happening in the audience, but they're not competing with the audience while they're up there. They're not necessarily having a dialogue with the audience, although some do. So I'm grateful to Beth and to the others that have been willing to do this for making me a better person and making me a better performer. Every time I get a little bit better. So next we're going to do a piece that is for my partner, lover, fiance, Tony Partington, who's here. And she's seen this poem before, so she knows that it exists, but I haven't really done it as a performance piece before, so we're going to give it a try. And the poem is called The Bodhisattva of Partnership. When dream becomes reality, manifests itself in your kitchen, your bedroom, your driveway. Don't dismiss it. Don't give it a reason to flit away. When the moment arrives, don't question it. Live and commingle a while. I learned the benefits of living in the present moment, the danger of lingering in the past, or fretting over the future. Such a simple idea, not always easy to practice. When I tried to remain present, I found that time stretched, allowing for weeks or months of blissful newness. When the girl of my dreams finally sauntered onto the scene, we agreed to do things differently, check in frequently, express gratitude, face problems head on and with immediacy. 7 years later, we're still riding that moment. Revel in the vastness of my heart. Eternity in your eye. Your forever smile. Sanctuary. Our dwelling. Home found in our embrace. Grateful for your warmth, for your never-ending thoughtfulness, your gentle caress, your constant care, your unwavering attention. Once was left, but now I'm welcome. Was paranoid, but now I breathe. Once broken, now utterly complete. Thank you. Now we're going to finish with a piece that's a favorite piece of mine, and I was happy to find out that it was a favorite piece of Beth's too. She enjoyed doing it so much that she asked to do it again. And this is a piece called Burnt Retina. And among other things, it is my way of letting people know. It's not the only poem that does this actually, but one of the poems that gives me the opportunity to let the people in the audience know how much I enjoy psychedelic mushrooms. In the hopes that eventually someone in the audience will share their psychedelic mushrooms with me. So, taking, I don't know, a lot of the things I do in my life are because of people that have paved the path before me, and one of those people is Allen Ginsberg, who is very open about all of the things that he did to expand his consciousness, and I figured since I've never had a bad experience, why be ashamed of it, right? So, here we go. Burnt Retina, it's called. Sat on a toadstool discussing dreams. little was said. God, I just went blank. Fell silent in the spot where they left the tea strainer. The day John Cage died, I heard a cough in the wood. Found a mushroom cap, a very personal column. Wept for you, for me. Tip a cap toward me. Glimmer. Open for me. I fall into the inverted lotus. Crawl forward into the stem, diminishing as I go. Sod between my fingers. Dew on my back. Insects ascend the stalks, beginning at my ankles. I roll, tumble, and land on my back. Eyes assaulted by sunlight, dissipate into clouds which resemble your spinning petals. Blossom embossed upon my fluttering eyelids. As I am pulled into the earth, I return complete. One with the sod. Worm food. Finished. Done for. Replenished. A seed at the beginning and end of a long, familiar story. Thank you. Thank you to Beth Karp for her speech.
Yes, yes. Bravo, Beth.
Yes. We have a tip jar if any of you would feel so generous as to contribute to Beth's time. She's here for free this evening. And Tony and I recently edited the second volume of Poems from the Ghost Town Poetry Series. So those of you who don't have that or aren't familiar with it, that's also available here. And of course, because we are right next door to Niche, those of you that would like to hang around and have a drink and chat and maybe ask some questions, we're going to be here to do that. So thank you all for coming. Thank you to Tiffany Bergerstram, who has been following me around and putting these videos up. I don't have to worry about there being evidence because there's plenty of it and it's good. And thank you to Leah and Greg for having us, and I hope everyone will come back as we do some more of these events in the future. Thanks, Leah. Okay, have a great night.